Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Kay Harper. Check it out. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Fret Rescue. Located in Southeast Michigan, Joe at Fret Rescue has over 17 years of experience as a journeyman luthier. From basic setup to major repairs and restorations, you can put your trust in Fret Rescue. Contact Fret Rescue via email at fretrescue@gmail.com. You can also find them on social media by searching for Fret Rescue, @FertRescue. That's Fret Rescue. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Kay Harper. Kay, how are you?
I am awesome, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a fantastic day today. And I'm super happy to talk with you because I can't remember exactly how you reached out to me. I can't remember if it was a message or email or what, but I'm glad you did because I love when I get to experience new music. And not that, well, you are a newer artist, but to me, brand new. I had no idea that you were out there. And I was checking out your music, and then recently, I think August 2nd,
Yep.
you released the single Freight Train, which is fantastic. Love the song in general, your powerful vocals. Love the mix of country and rock that you got going there, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're reading me.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's awesome. And so, I just want to thank you so much for being on Fans of Bands.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I've been hustling. I reached out to you, just looking for opportunities to get out there because I am pretty unknown still. And I have a lot more I'm going to be saying. So
Awesome.
hopefully
Excellent.
people will start listening.
That's cool. That's cool. So I like to kind of start from the beginning, and that is like, how did you get into music? How did you want to become a singer-songwriter?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, music's been a part of my life since I can remember, since I was 5, as far back as I can remember. I remember listening to Patsy Cline on my mom's cassette tape she used to have
Oh,
and
awesome.
playing the lava game while Patsy sang in the background. And then it evolved just as I got older. Me and my mom started watching American Idol when it first came out, which was probably when I was in 3rd grade.
Uh,
And I used to emulate the singers, and my mom would say, try that song. And I dreamed someday of being on that show. And so that really kickstarted it. And
awesome.
like I said, it kept evolving. We had a music class in elementary where we started learning to sing, my favorite things from The Sound of Music. And I think that's where I kind of learned how to really sing through
Okay.
my music teacher.
Yeah.
And then continued all the way through middle and high school doing talent shows and choir. I loved choir so much. We also had the select choir where you had to audition, and so that was a lot of fun and taught me a lot and really kickstarted the love for it all.
Awesome. Very cool. So when did you pick up guitar? Because I know you play. And
Yeah, so in high school, it was probably my sophomore, junior year, I found ultimateguitar.com. And it's funny that kickstarted me learning because I would look up songs I liked and they
yeah.
show you where to put your finger placement.
Yeah.
So I taught myself.
Oh,
And
awesome.
then my senior year at Napoleon High School, they had the first year guitar class. They'd never done it before. And we all got to take home and rent a guitar from the school.
Oh,
And
cool.
that helped further my skill set a little. It's pretty cool. I wish they would still do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was, oh, this was quite a while ago, but they used to do that when I was a kid. Not necessarily guitar, but it was like string, like violins, cellos, and that kind of stuff, and actually let you like take it home. That is,
Yes.
I think, is the best thing for somebody that isn't really sure like what they want to
Yes.
do and just wants to explore. They could just like take home a guitar or do or
Or a lot
whatever.
of the youth that can't afford to
Yeah,
buy and try, that's a
yeah.
great introduction for them. I wish we could keep, they kind of cut the music programs. I wish we could keep it up.
I know, I know. So you've got the single Freight Train,
Yeah.
and I was curious about that song. I love it. I think it's a great, powerful. I like the powerful message behind it as well. But what was the inspiration? How did that song come about for you?
This song was not the first one I wrote. I have 13 chilling waiting to come out. And
Excellent.
this one I think was third or fourth, inspired by the Yellowstone when it first came out, that show, because of their soundtrack. It was a whole thing. I was obsessed for a minute. And then yeah, I started writing Freight Train, and it came to me very quickly because it's really just the story of my life. You know, she was barely 18. She barely had a dream, a pocket full of change, and a rundown beater. That's what I was living. And, you know, I was pregnant at 18. I dropped out of college. It kind of felt like things weren't going anywhere,
Yeah.
but you continue on and you find, as I would say, the smoke in the stack to
Yeah.
keep moving. And that's really the inspiration for that story.
Excellent. So what's the songwriting process like for you? Are you more of a somebody that comes up with a melodic idea and then kind of figure that out on guitar how you want to kind of structure it and then put lyrics to it, or do you come up with like a lyrical theme and then think, oh, I'd really like to develop some music for that?
It's actually been a mix. I think primarily my style is I hear like a beat somebody made, and I hear where all the notes go if I were to sing it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could write something. And then I just start writing. Sometimes quickly, a song could take an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll write a chorus, I'll sit on it for a week, come back, because that writer's block really exists sometimes.
Right. Right.
Um, but then there's been other times where like I was given a title, like Midnight. I have a song called Midnight, but I was given the title by someone else to write to it. And I came up with this cool tale about midnight and how the moon shines and the wind, you know, whisks through the air and the animals come out to play in the dark. It's a fun song. You'll have to
Nice.
hear that one sometime. But
Yeah, sure.
it's definitely a mix of inspiration. I guess it's wherever the wind takes me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've got 13 songs. Are you planning to do individual like single releases? Do you plan to put them all out on physical media? What's the plan going forward for that music?
Yeah, so the tentative plan is so Freight Train came out in August.
Hmm.
When I was down in Nashville recording that, I actually did record another song. So I have another one ready to go. And I'm
Excellent.
planning right now the release date. I'm looking at doing a photo shoot for the promo this next weekend to
Uh-huh.
hopefully try to push it out in the next couple of weeks. Because I
Oh,
hate sitting on
excellent.
it. Like I'm
Yeah.
ready to go, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
then the other songs that I had previously written, I'm saving funds to go record them again. I'd really love to use Smith Curry again.
Uh-huh.
Um, just that process was amazing down there, working with all those high class musicians, the creative process,
Yeah.
them bringing my songs to life. It was so cool. So I'm excited to do it again.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about the songs, I just finished 2 new songs this week.
Oh, really? Awesome.
So I'm keeping on going.
That's cool. That's cool. So
Yeah.
you're definitely not suffering from any writer's block right now.
No, I have a lot of ideas.
Excellent. So, you, where did the songs come from for you? What are some of the influences? Is it just daily life and observations? Is it
Some of them,
stories? What is that?
yeah, some come from a deeper place. I've got one song called Dig Deep, and it's just about digging deep inside yourself to get through hardships. I've
Hmm.
been through a lot of hardships. We all have, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So I think that one I'm excited for to resonate to help people who are struggling.
Yeah.
Um, and then my song I just wrote, I think I'm gonna call it Honky Tonk Style. So it's like a fun one about getting rowdy at a honky tonk. So you'll see a good variety of topics with me.
Cool. Cool. Now, and I mentioned when we were first talking about the single Freight Train has that great mix of country. You have a country delivery to your vocals, but there's very much a rock and roll background to that. Is that uh, just part of how you write music and how you want it to sound, or is it are you trying to develop individual tracks that have different feels for each one? I'm sure, like the theme, if it's a slower, more mellow tone, a song is going to
Yeah,
have an impact. But how
those
does
are
that
great
work for you?
questions. Yeah, so I think part of it has to do with my influences because I have a variety of influences. I've never been this person that's in one box.
Yeah.
I've loved all types of music. I mean, I was in an indie band back about 9 years ago,
Oh, cool.
which was a totally different style, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can sing Adele. I love Adele. I love the dirty Southern rock like Chris Stapleton. I love the oldies like CCR.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it has to do with influence.
Okay.
And then secondarily, I would agree with your other point that it is kind of stylistic to the song feeling as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that freight train feel, just like kicking out of the gate,
Right.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And it fits it well because it's got that, that energy. But you're also talking about like kind of overcoming and like getting, get moving forward, really, right? And I think
Absolutely.
the rock and roll backbeat kind of helps propel that forward. That's very cool.
Yes. I love that drummer on the track. These guys that are on the track are Grammy nominated. He just killed it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
how did that come about? How did you end up going to Nashville to do recording? Was that just
Well,
a choice you made, or did you have some connections? What was that like?
it was a choice I made. I had been talking to someone else. I won't name drop,
Yeah, that's okay.
but I had been talking to another producer down in Tennessee. Um, and they just didn't seem as excited about my track as I was. And it just didn't fit right. So
Mhm.
I shopped around and someone name dropped Smith Curry. And I was like, "Psh, this guy, I Googled him. He's worked with Willie Nelson and like just all the greats. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's not gonna respond to me. Are you kidding? Little girl from Jackson.
right.
So I reached out on Instagram and he actually responded and was like, let's go, send me your stuff.
Really
And
awesome.
so I don't know. I feel really lucky. He actually just produced Shabuzi's bar song.
Okay.
It's
Oh
been
yeah,
#1 for weeks.
yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like if we get the right song, this thing could really
That's cool. That's very cool.
smash. Yeah.
So, what was it like working with him? Was he, um, I guess, I have no idea what it's like to work with a producer of that caliber. Was he like saying, "Oh, okay, you need to focus on this," or was he just saying, "I like the theme of this, but we need to do X." How was that?
Yeah, well, for Freight Train, I mean, I gave him a full layout of how I did want the song. So they
Mhm.
didn't really have, they had a little artistic expression in it, but it was mostly mapped out. But he loved it and they were jamming and I was singing along with them. They were in another room and I was in the booth and they killed it. But then after that, so I worked with all of them in one studio, and later in the day, I went to a secondary studio. It was a Warner Chappell studio with Mark Lonsway, and he did my vocals. It was just him and I, and we did my vocals. And it was cool because I sang it once all the way through, and we were done. And he's like, "Hot damn, you can sing!" Because sometimes they get people they have to really auto tune and stuff.
Oh, yeah, and I hate that too because
Yeah,
it just sounds
he
so fake and takes away from the authenticity, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We've really come so far away from real music, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to hear. I mean, I could hear that in your song that it felt authentic and it didn't feel forced. And I really appreciate that. And then knowing your story about like how that came about, that you've got these, fabulous session musicians working with you. It's heartening, right? Because a lot of like you mentioned, a lot of music isn't that way. It's not necessarily authentic. Somebody's just kind of I don't want to say they're going through the motions, but it feels that way. It just doesn't feel. And I struggle a lot with pop country because of that, because it just does
Yeah.
pop music in general, but pop country in particular just feels disingenuous to me.
Yes.
Your song does feels genuine, like you were trying to do that intentionally.
Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate that and I agree. Honestly, I mean, like I said, I grew up on Patsy and Loretta and Johnny and George. To me, that was country all my life. And then growing up, like I kind of liked Miranda Lambert, but like some of the newer stuff,
Yeah.
the rap pop country, I just can't get into it. So I'm trying to find this line of being myself with my sound and people liking it, but not everyone's gonna like you, right? So
Yeah.
at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you just got to do your own thing, I think.
That's right. That's right. So obviously your recorded music has a certain degree of polish to it. Uh, when you're going to do shows here, what's your process like to kind of dial it into just being either you solo acoustic or if you have backing musicians? How is that process like for you to kind of get it ready for your live audience?
Yeah. So I really just began doing this thing when I hit 30. I'm 33 now. I started getting my feet wet at about 30 because I was like, time's ticking. I've got this dream. It's now or never, really.
Yeah.
So I posted an ad on Craigslist looking for a guitarist to join me just to start open mics or getting small gigs in town.
Yeah.
And I got a hit from someone in town who's super talented. He can play guitar, he can play piano, he can play the fiddle. His name is Cesar Wade. And so we've been doing this acoustic duo thing for about 2 years now.
Cool.
And in that time is when I began writing on my own, coming up with these ideas to keep building and growing.
Yeah.
And so now that I have my songs recorded, we're putting together a full band to back the Kay Harper brand.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we've been practicing with a drummer and we just had our first show with him and it went really good.
Excellent.
So I've got a bassist. I just sent him a song list. He's going to check it out and we're going to audition some bassists. So hopefully, fingers crossed that next summer you'll see me at some bigger festivals and stuff.
Awesome. That's very cool. Very cool. And are they, I know that you're from Jackson. Are they Jackson musicians or like Southeast Michigan, I'm assuming? Just to be
Yeah,
close.
so Cesar is a Jackson native, and he's also in multiple other bands like a Bob Seger tribute band, Tom Petty tribute band. He's in like 5 bands. He loves music. And
Awesome.
then Dale Foster, he is from Grass Lake, which is right in my neck of the woods. It makes it so
Yep.
easy for practice. So he's super cool too, and he's in another country band. They don't play as often, but
Uh,
he's in the scene for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So how is it, how has the music scene been for you so far? How are you
It's been a
enjoying?
big learning curve.
Ah, cool.
Um, I mean, starting at lower paying small gigs at like a dive bar, right?
Right.
Starting to build up, get a little notice.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's bittersweet because some places really take care and love their musicians and respect their musicians, and I'm seeing some places that maybe don't as much.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a little bias in the community, a little, but it is what it is. And I think I just got to keep trucking along and reaching out to people
Yep.
and doing my thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as you mentioned, there is a little bit of a I wouldn't say tension. I guess there are some venues that really are very music forward. They want to take care of the musician. They want to promote local music. And then there's some places where it's just kind of background and it's like, you know, come in here, however little money, and they don't really care.
Yeah,
It's like something they have to do. But fortunately, I think we do have quite a few venues that care about the music. And
absolutely.
you as an artist, you can kind of go pick and choose and go, all right, I know these people take care of me and care about the music. So that's
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm still so grateful. Like, even if this place gives you a free dinner and this place doesn't, like, that stuff doesn't matter in the end. In the end, I'm getting exposure and they're
yeah,
welcoming me into their place. So even I'm grateful no matter what. I'll take anything I can get so people see me and hear me.
yeah, yeah, awesome. So I like to do something where I kind of go back. I mean, we talked about how you got into music, but what was do you remember like the first either CD or streaming or basically music that you got for yourself the very first time?
Well, you're talking to a 90s baby, so you're not gonna like my answers, but I'll be honest here. So let's see. 2000 to 2003, I would have been 10 to 13. So you're talking Britney Spears,
All
Christina
right.
Aguilera, and Sync. I know.
That's good. That's awesome. What was
But
your
then, like I said, it evolves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Well, you had some yeah, I mean, clearly you had some great influences because your mom was listening to Patsy Cline, and she's fantastic. My mom also was a big Patsy Cline fan.
Oh, she's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Her, Loretta Lynn, even Tammy Wynette, I enjoyed some of her stuff too. And
Yeah.
oh shoot, uh, Bonnie Raitt, you know.
Oh, Bonnie. Heck yeah, that she can play some guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's fantastic. Uh, was curious, what was your first concert experience?
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Now you're bringing me back. I'm feeling nostalgic. My first concert experience was with my best friend Holly at Jackson County Fairgrounds. It was Rihanna.
All right, awesome.
Oh, that's so funny. And we were the only ones dancing, I remember.
Excellent, excellent. And kind of along those same lines, but do you remember the last concert you went to?
Yes, it was amazing. It was my idol, my favorite, Chris Stapleton.
Oh, excellent.
And my fiance took me. This was two years ago now. Toledo. We went to Toledo and we stayed in this really old house that used to be a convent. It was super cool. I think it was
Excellent.
haunted.
Do you
And
believe?
then we
Oh,
went and
go ahead.
saw Chris Stapleton, and he is just the best.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
grit, that soul in his voice just speaks to me. I
yeah.
love him.
Yeah, and he's done it like, well, he's obviously doing awesome, but he's done some, what I think is really cool is bringing out some like newer acts on the road with him to kind of
Yes.
showcase them. I think he had
That's like
Marcus
Margot
King.
Price opened
Yeah,
for him.
yeah,
And I had never heard of her before. And now I follow her because she's a great musician and artist.
yeah. I love when artists do, like when Billy Strings brings somebody or, whoever, when they bring up an artist that's maybe not so well known and they're just kind of putting them out there and giving
Yeah.
them a big
I
venue.
think that's awesome that they
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. So, sort of along those same lines, if you could play anywhere in the world with anybody else on stage, where would you like to play, and who would you like to play with?
Oh, that's a hard one. I can think of who easily. Of course, Chris. And then another person that I really like is Kelly Clarkson. I like her because I identify a lot with her. I watched her on American Idol when she first was on there, and she was my favorite. I identify with her because of her. She has kind of had a weight journey through her life. Her weight
Hmm.
has always bounced up and down, and I
Yeah.
am very much the same. I'm
Uh-huh.
not a size zero girl, and it always has gone up and down. And then she's emotional. She can cry at the drop of a hat, and I am the same damn way. It's so funny. So it would be her and Chris. And then what stage? Well, I've been seeing these artists performing in like really old historic places, like a Roman Colosseum.
Yeah.
Or Jelly Roll just performed, I think it was like somewhere in Arizona or somewhere out that way. And it was like all rock around him and all like desert.
Yeah.
Somewhere like that would be so dope. I'd love it.
Yeah, there's some place in I think it's maybe called the Cavern. I think it's in either Tennessee or Kentucky, but it's underground.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
I've seen some. Actually, I know a photographer that went to a show and took some pictures there. But yeah, it's just this huge amphitheater that's kind of set up in. I mean, not as big as Red Rocks, but a sizable venue that's underground. I'm like, wow, that'd be
Wow. I
yeah,
wonder how the acoustics would be. It'd probably echo.
yeah. That's what I was wondering too. Is like, is it total shit because it's like just bouncing off these rocks and it's like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, I know I was watching a Pompeii documentary the other day,
Oh yeah.
and who was it? Someone big was playing out there at like one of their Coliseum things that they showed a sign. I'm like, you can play at those places? Like, how
Yeah.
cool would that be?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, years and years and years and years ago, Pink Floyd, they have a live at Pompeii, and they played right there in the ruins of Pompeii. It's like, holy cow.
See, that's
Yeah.
incredible. I can't even imagine being somewhere like that.
Oh, it looks like we've got somebody joining in here. So, while they're coming on, do you know a JB?
Yeah, it's probably my stalker fiance.
All right. That's good because I we I'll tell a funny story. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily funny. I was talking to another band, and because this is kind of an open thing, I don't necessarily know who all's their fans are. So talking to a band, and then somebody gets on, and they don't know the band at all, but they just like start doing some crazy shit on the screen. I'm like, oh my god! So we had to get them off there, and like, oh Lord. So now I've got this fear anytime somebody.
Oh, that's so funny. You
I don't know.
seriously never know. I've heard some crazy stories.
Oh yeah. One time we had this really cool. It was funny. He was from Alabama, and he was talking about like, uh, he was polite. But then when I asked him like, so and so, do you have a question? He goes, no, but I want to talk about big time wrestling, and it was someplace in Alabama. He does wrestling shows, and
Wow. Oh my gosh.
yeah, so that's what he wanted to talk about was wrestling. It was like, and the musicians I was talking to, they're like, I don't really know wrestling, but yeah, whatever, dude.
That's hilarious. It could have been so much worse, but
I
that's
know
funny.
it could have, yeah, it could have been, yeah, it could have been really bad.
Oh
So
my
I know
goodness.
that your career's like, in that kind of starting stage where you're trying to get the word out about your music. What motivates you to keep going and to keep wanting to do that, to keep promoting that music?
It motivates me to think a couple things. One, I could die tomorrow. I could die in my sleep tonight.
Okay.
And there's a chance that my songs could never get heard. And that's a big motivation right there. Because even though someday I could go, my songs have the opportunity to possibly live forever.
Yeah.
Like your words continue. Like Frank Sinatra, everyone still listens to him and he's been gone a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
The secondary for that question is definitely my kids. I don't feel like I've always had I dropped out of college, man. I don't have a
Mhm.
degree. I mean, I work in marketing, which has really helped this,
Yeah.
by the way.
I was going to say that would be a good tool.
Yes, but it feels like my skill set is like this. I'm a singer, I'm a
Yeah.
writer. So if I can make a career out of this and provide for my children, then I think I win.
Yeah.
But also on top of that is just showing them that look at me, I'm a normal mom doing the dishes, but guess what? I'm gonna go sing and make some money from it. I can be a star. Like you can do it too, honey.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
so, we were talking about your kind of musical journey. Do you feel that that path has placed you in a position so that you can be successful doing what you want to do?
Absolutely. I think we're all more capable than we think we are at succeeding in life. I think we all hold ourselves back a lot, and I did for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
My self-doubts about maybe my appearance or maybe I'm not a good enough singer, those thoughts were there for sure for a long time and kept me hidden away at home.
Yeah.
So now that I feel like I finally moved past that, I really feel like the sky is the limit and I can keep going forward with this.
Awesome.
I
So
have it in me.
was there anything in particular that helped you like move on? So you mentioned that you may not have felt confident about yourself. What what were the things that helped you as a person and an artist to kind of overcome that?
Part of it was validation, honestly. For example, Since I was 19, 20 years old, I've been auditioning for The Voice, America's Got Talent, American Idol, and I've been close quite a few times to the point where I've had to send multiple videos of me singing and having interviews with the producers. In Chicago, I had the cameras in front of me, but I ultimately always got that no. And even though like it was kind of bittersweet, I got another no again. I'm not going to be on the TV.
Right.
I initially got yeses, so I did have something there, right?
Right. Right.
So that kind of sparked like, okay, they said no, it hurts, but they said yes first. So I have something in me. I need to cultivate it. I need to grow it. I think that really started with the validation,
Yeah.
helping get that. And then on top of that, when I started going out to karaoke and the whole room would turn their heads. That's
Yeah.
freaking validation if I ever needed it, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Because there's so many, and you know, like you mentioned when you went to Nashville, and they go, "Oh, you can actually sing," right? Because I think that does happen quite a bit, where somebody you, thinks they can sing or thinks they can do that, but it's a whole nother level to be able to actually, you know, one, control your voice, but then perform in front of people. It's
Live.
yeah,
Live is a whole different ball game.
yeah. That is, it takes a certain amount of courage, but you also have to have talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after so long of doing it, you do start to get used to the feeling of being on stage because I battled anxiety for a very long time. Like I remember my junior, senior year singing national anthem at a cheer competition. There was maybe 50 to 100 people. And I would hype myself up, hyperventilating and shaking. And then I would
Right.
sing
Yeah.
and it wasn't very good because I was hyping myself up.
Right.
So
Right.
I was worried about that when I started this a couple of years ago. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the more I do it, I really have become more confident on stage.
Excellent. So do you
Yeah.
have any type of like things you have to do before you perform? Any kind of like pre-show rituals
Yeah.
or things you do to get ready?
Yeah. My routine, um, every show on my way, I do my vocal warm up from a YouTube video. You have to warm up your vocals. You really can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Last year, I was stressing it up in my upper register and I hurt it. And it was actually scary because it made me realize, oh, you can lose it.
Yeah.
You can really hurt yourself. So I do my vocal warm up every time before. And then I also started doing like if I have a bigger gig and I'm a little nervous, I do a breathing exercise. Like it's so simple, but breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, breathe out one, just
Yeah.
over and over to slow your heart rate. It helps. So those are my main rituals. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So what's your, you know, we're all fans of music, obviously. What is your preferred method or way to enjoy music? Do you like to just have it, you know, you like to be in the car and doing something, or is it like at home and you just like to, you know, relax and listen to the stereo? What is your preferred method?
I have a mix because music is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I listen to music all the time in the car. I practice a lot in the car. People probably think I'm crazy. I'm
Yeah, they're
singing with
driving
my
by
mouth
going,
all
yeah,
big. I do roll down my windows and I sing out my windows.
yeah.
Of course, you got to listen to some music when you're cleaning, or else
Oh, for
it's not going to be
sure.
very fun.
For sure. Yeah. I would
Um,
say half the time that's what I'm listening, like how I'm listening to music. Either working, you know, so I've got, for anybody that can't see what we're doing, what we're talking about, I've got a stereo or, you know, turntable behind me, so I always have something going on there. Or, but like you said, when you're cleaning a house, yeah, that was with my
yeah,
mom. She like did that all the time, and so like since then, I'm just like, we've got to listen to music while we're working.
yeah, absolutely. It makes it a little less depressing.
Yeah. Right, right. So if there was like three albums that you could, you know, you're talking to a stranger and they ask you this odd question, I'm going to ask you, what would be three albums that would describe you?
Oh, I think one of them would be Chris Stapleton's Starting Over album. Um, I always liked that song, especially starting over. When I went to his concert with my fiance, I actually got really emotional when they started singing that. Because of my life story, which we haven't delved too much on here, but I grew up a farm girl, working on the farm with my mom and my stepdad. My stepdad was pretty abusive, and it was a turbulent childhood. And then I got pregnant at 18, married at 19, divorced by 25.
Oh,
And
wow.
it starting over happened after that for me. And when that I was with my fiance, he treats me so well. We have a really happy, good life. We have a son together. It just all hit me. And I think that album is probably at the top.
That's
And
great.
then cascading down, um, doing this band thing a couple years ago, I was jamming with these guys, and I mean, I'm 33. They're all a little older than me, and they know a lot of the classics. They know Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
They knew CCR, which is where I really started figuring all this cool stuff out, right?
Right.
So I went thrift shopping and started getting CDs. Like I found the Joe Cocker album, Help from My Friends by Joe
Oh,
Cocker.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
sing the crap out of that, man. And I found the CCR albums or the CDs that I have in my car.
Yeah.
And I forced my kids to listen to them because they got to know good music now,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Oh, man. And then, I mean, I guess I could throw this one up there. Uh, Back about 10 years ago, I was obsessed with Adele. I was on an Adele kick for a while. And my sister took me to one of her concerts, and she really helped me find my voice. I get compared to Adele a lot. I feel like I'm a baby of Chris Stapleton and Adele.
That's
Kind
a
of
good
funny I should say that.
combination, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's an awesome combination.
So I'll put her up there too. Those would be my three.
Excellent. Excellent. So you mentioned your kids and having them listen to music. What do they think of their mom performing?
Oh gosh, you had to ask that. Well, my 14-year-old is mortified a little. He's at an embarrassing stage. I'm the
Yeah,
embarrassing mom.
yeah.
But it's actually really cool because we bonded over music a lot. During COVID, he taught himself the electric guitar, and he ended up being able to shred like natural, like
Really?
doing Van Halen stuff.
Seriously? That's
And
awesome.
I know. And so we bonded over that, and my mom learned guitar, and my nephew plays guitar and sings. So it became a really big family affair, and we've had a lot of fun with it.
That's cool. Do you guys do like family jams or get together at like picnics and break out
Absolutely.
the guitars? Awesome.
Yeah, they come over, we do family jams and karaoke. If we go to the cabin, we'll jam out around the campfire. It's a
That's
lot of
cool.
fun.
Awesome. Now, what kind of music is your oldest son into then?
Well, he's not into anything new. He complains all the time. He listens to the classic country, nothing new, no new country. He says I'm new country, and I'm
Oh
like,
no. Oh.
so it's really funny. But he's a pretty cool kid. He's gonna be 15 and driving soon. Oh my gosh. So,
That's
and
great.
then I have a 7-year-old, and he's really sweet. He says that I'm a rock star, and he walks around the house singing my songs.
Oh,
He's so
awesome.
sweet.
That's cool. Very cool. So I know you've got some new music that you're working on and writing. You're planning to go back, hopefully, to Nashville to do some more recording. How about later this fall? Do you have any plans for any shows or things like that?
Yep, I've got some gigs scheduled out right now. I do typically take a lighter winter,
Yeah,
like
it's kind of tough.
November, because it's
Yeah,
my mom's birthday, my son's birthday, Thanksgiving. So I
yeah.
do typically go lighter, but I'm going to be hunting for opportunities. I'm a work dog.
Awesome.
Like everyone's in bed, I'm on my phone looking for gigs, opportunities, media opportunities, because I'm in marketing. I know
Yeah,
it's a full faceted thing to make this work,
right,
right?
right. Yeah. How has that been as far as the marketing? I know you reach out to me. Um, does it feel easier, harder than what you're doing for your everyday work because it's more personally involved, or is it just kind of the same thing? You're just kind of retooling the message you're trying to get out there, whatever you're basically trying to promote, in this case yourself.
Yeah. I think it's easier because I'm in charge of the decision making. If I
Mhm.
see a newspaper article searching for a source, like I just got an article about mental health and the 5 ways that I have overcome traumas in my past. So even though that's not directly related with my music,
Yeah,
it all ties in for me, right?
yeah,
Me telling my story, sharing, this is how I got through it. I'm a freight train. Here we go. Buckle up.
yeah.
So I think it's really helped. And like I said, I get to make the decisions on the media I'm reaching out to, the interviews that like with you, Chuck. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
I'm really grateful and working hard.
Excellent. So you mentioned that kind of mental health aspect. Do you feel that your music, I mean, obviously, listening to music has a positive impact typically for folks that are dealing with some type of hardship or dealing with mental illness or just depression or trauma, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you intentionally try to use your music to help like send some of those messages about overcoming that, or is it just kind of a byproduct of the fact that you had those experiences and now you're using your music to express yourself, but also help kind of channel some of that stuff?
Some of my songs are definitely intentional on that. Um, I have been in a lot of dark places and a lot of people have, and I consider myself an empath. I know people think that's silly, but truly, like, I feel a lot of compassion for people and the hurt that goes on in the world. And music is so universal. If I could just reach one person with my song and save one person,
Yeah.
then that's all I care about. Like I recently got asked to talk at my old high school this spring for a wellness day.
Oh,
And for
cool.
first my brain is like, hundreds of teenagers, hell no. And then I think about it and I'm like, well, what if I could reach one girl who was in a position like I was,
Yeah.
or one person who was in a position like my friend that ended her life my senior year?
Oh,
Like that would make it worth it for the hundreds of people making fun of me. One person lived or chose to hang on longer. Like,
yeah.
so part of it is intentional for sure. And I can't wait to get more of my songs out because like Dig Deep, no one's even really heard that one. And that's definitely one about digging deep in yourself to overcome things.
Excellent. Do you feel that your music has been a a way for you to heal and to deal with the trauma that you've experienced?
Absolutely. It's it's helped me have a lot of reflection, not only on the things maybe that I went through, but the things that I chose or did myself,
Mm-hmm.
behaviors I may have had in the past.
Right?
Definitely. I've grown and my music, I think, shows that. Like I said, I've got these other songs just sitting. One is called I'm Sorry, and it's an apology for maybe drama had in my 20s. You know,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
grown a lot. I think we all have. And it kind of is vulnerable for me to share with people. But then that, like I said, that empathetic side of me thinks I could help somebody.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you oh shoot, now I lost my third train of thought. I was thinking about what we were just saying with kind of overcoming and your music helping to heal. Do you um shoot, I lost my train of thought on that
It's okay.
one. So looking forward and into like next year, do you have plans to do any type of festivals or things like that? Are there things you'd like to set your sights on?
Yeah, I've already begun reaching out to places, not just in Michigan, but throughout the entire United States, a lot of festivals. Some of them I've been getting replies, they haven't opened their submissions yet.
Right.
But I've begun a list, and as soon as those are open, I'm gonna be applying. And hopefully this thing will keep growing. My streams are increasing on Spotify. I'm getting on more playlists.
Awesome.
I'm really excited about that. I don't know how it's happening, but it is. So in my mind is like, okay, get the next song out. Let's go. Like, you got to keep the momentum going. The stream's coming on Spotify. So this next summer, if anyone's listening, Kay Harper Music, reach out. Let's gig. I'm ready to rock.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'll be sure to share that as well on the because I've got fans with bands, listening for other artists that we've talked with. So I'll be sure
Awesome.
to share that on there as well. Because like I said, I think it's a great song, and you've done a fantastic job with the productions is wonderful. I mean, the way it sounds, and like I was mentioning, it's very authentic as opposed to some of the pop country that kind of drives me
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. It's like tailgate and beer. What
Yeah,
else could you ask for?
right, right, exactly.
I know.
Uh, well, Kay, I really appreciate you being on Fans with Bands. I've got just one last question for you, and that,
Okay.
and that is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, awesome.
Come on.
Do you have
What
any?
about you, Chuck?
Well, so I am not a pineapple on pizza person because I just feel like I really don't like sweet and savory. So
Yeah.
it's either just, pizza just, it should be whatever, vegetables or meat. But the pineapple,
Mushrooms?
yeah, for sure. But
Okay.
the pineapple needs to sit by itself. It needs to be on its
Okay.
own. Yeah. But yeah,
All right.
but I don't begrudge anybody that loves pineapple with pizza. So
Okay.
a question
We can
though
still
is,
be friends, Chuck. It's okay.
that's good. Uh, do you have any like favorite combination? Is it the classic Hawaiian or do you do any different ingredients with that?
The if I were to order a pizza right now, it would be pepperoni, bacon, and mushrooms,
Oh, really? Awesome.
and then and ranch.
Yeah. Oh, a little ranch in there. Excellent.
Yep.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay.
Is that a question you ask everybody, Chuck?
It is. Everybody gets that one.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna listen for that for the next one.
Yeah. It's always there. Yeah. Or if I've talked to a band before, then I'll save it. So if I talk with you again, then I can ask you that question.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks again for being on Fans with Bands. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chuck, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Many thanks to Kay Harper for joining me in this episode of Fans with Bands. It was a joy to talk with Kay. Her story is inspiring and her passion for music comes through loud and clear. Be sure to check out her latest single, Freight Train. You can catch Kay live at Revel Run in Chelsea on November 15th for the Hunter Widows Ball. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for bands and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jam.